So I have this puppy. For the longest time, I barely noticed her. She was so curled up at the back of my closet. Sure, every now and then, she'd lift up her head, nose her way over to the door, scritch and scratch to try and get my attention. But she was pretty quiet for the most part, so I just left her there while I went and lived the rest of my life. This lasted for a while, until I met my friend's kitten. Holy, were the two of them cute. We'd be curled up on the couch together, watching some nerdy show, and I'd think to myself about how nice this was, how comfortable it was. I'd nervously glance back towards the door that my puppy was going nuts behind, and wonder if maybe those two had the right idea. And so, with the kitten nosing very determinedly around my door, I let my little fluff ball out to play. We had a hell of a time watching those two gambling this way and that, only to collapse together at the end of the day in a tangle of limb and contentment. We were pretty excited to show off our queer creatures to the world, and most of the people who mattered were extremely welcoming, which gave my puppy a warm reception. Except for when someone wasn't. When someone I trusted as a dog lover turned around and kicked my puppy. Right in the ribs. How could she do that? How could someone who had taught me my entire life to be kind and welcoming to others' pets just turn around and kick my puppy? Turn around and leave her alone in the cold? I didn't know. But the kitten and their person were always in our corner. They just had a way of making things seem better. But that fear of getting kicked that had kept my puppy alone in the dark for so long was very real. So we stayed a little bit closer to home, closer to the kitten and their person and the safe little bubble we had created for each other. Unfortunately, bubbles pop. You know the way it is with cats and dogs. They and I both knew that what we had wasn't meant to last forever. And so, my puppy and I went our separate ways from the kitten and their person, which left me alone with my gangly pup, who had a confused loneliness at her core that terrified me. For so long before the kitten, I had denied the mere existence of my puppy, telling myself that now wasn't the time to deal with her. I'll figure out how she affects my life later. Later was no longer an option. I had been living with my puppy outside of her pen for months, but only then did I need to figure out how to live with her on my own. And how the hell was I supposed to do that? How was I supposed to train her, socialize her, bring her out into the world by myself? These questions buzzed around my head until I could barely think straight, and I froze up. Not knowing how to define my relationship with my puppy, I resorted back to what I'd done before, chaining her up, trapping her on the threshold of her old hideaway where she was stuck chasing her own tail, desperate for attention that I had no clue how to give her. I needed to fix this. I needed to reconcile myself with my puppy before we succeeded in driving each other mad. So I started by just sitting with her, taking off her leash, letting her nose her way into my lap, collapse into a heap on top of my chest, the sound of her breathing close to my ear. I searched out other queer creatures and their keepers to see how they and their companions navigated the world. I accepted that the fear of my puppy getting kicked was something we'd have to live with for now, but that it shouldn't stop me from trusting others to not be assholes. There are way more dog lovers out there than haters, and I should be the last person kicking my puppy to keep her in the dark, when all she wants is to roam off leash, meeting new people, exploring new places, all the while proudly sporting a bow tie collar, only to come home at the end of the day and curl up in one of my many flannel shirts. I discovered that the biggest gift I could give my puppy was open love and acceptance from myself. It took a feisty little kitten to see that my puppy deserved it, that she needed to be let out of that dark place I'd been hiding her in. That kitten and their person showed me the joy that exists when we let our creatures proudly roam about. But being shown that is one thing. Finding that feeling for myself and my puppy was entirely different. And if I'm being honest, I'm still figuring a lot of that kind of stuff out. What I have figured out, though, is that my puppy bears a marked resemblance to a neurotic golden retriever. You know the ones I'm talking about, the kind that go from 100 miles an hour getting excited about Carmilla, to nervously hiding behind your legs, asking, "Is this okay? Did I scare them? Can I go say hi to those people over there?" Yes, this is okay. I'm sure they loved you. You can go over there, say hi. I'll come too. We don't need to stay curled up alone in the dark anymore.